In a tense death row hearing, a judge allowed a black inmate his final request to hold his beloved dog, unleashing a chain of events that exposed deep corruption and moved the courtroom to tears. Elijah Marshall, a 42-year-old black man from Birmingham, Alabama, had spent the last 15 years on death row for a crime he maintained he did not commit. Convicted in 2010 for the murder of a local store owner during a robbery, Elijah's trial had been marred by questionable evidence and a rushed investigation. Despite multiple appeals, his execution date was set for June 15, 2025. As the date approached, Elijah's legal team, led by a young attorney named Sarah Klein, filed a final motion for a compassionate hearing, requesting that Elijah be allowed one last wish: to hold his dog, Justice, a German shepherd he had bonded with during a prison therapy program. The hearing took place on June 10, 2025, in the Jefferson County Courthouse. Judge Harlan Brooks, a veteran jurist known for his strict adherence to procedure, presided over the session. The courtroom was filled with Elijah's family, supporters, members of press, and representatives from the district attorney's office. Elijah, shackled and dressed in an orange jumpsuit, sat quietly at the defense table, his eyes focused on the floor. Sarah Klein stood to present the motion. "Your Honor," she said, her voice steady, "my client has maintained his innocence throughout his incarceration. While we continue to pursue avenues for exoneration, we ask the court to grant this small act of humanity. Justice was part of a therapy program at Holman Correctional Facility, and the bond they formed has been a source of comfort for Mr. Marshall." The prosecutor, Assistant DA Michael Reynolds, objected. "Your Honor, this is a convicted murderer. Allowing a dog into the courtroom sets a dangerous precedent. We oppose this request." Judge Brooks considered the arguments, his expression impassive. After a brief deliberation, he ruled in favor of the defense. "I see no harm in granting this request," he said. "Arrangements will be made for the dog to be brought here under supervision. This hearing will reconvene in 1 hour." An hour later, Justice was escorted into the courtroom by a handler from the prison program. The dog, a large German shepherd with glossy black coat, immediately recognized Elijah and pulled toward him. Guards removed Elijah's shackles under the judge's order, allowing him to kneel and embrace the dog. Justice licked Elijah's face, his tail wagging vigorously. Elijah buried his face in the dog's fur, his shoulders shaking slightly. The courtroom watched in silence as Elijah whispered to Justice. "You've been my only friend in there," Elijah said quietly. "Thank you for everything." The moment lasted several minutes, with many in the audience wiping away tears. Elijah's mother, seated in the front row, clutched the tissue, her eyes filled with emotion. As Elijah stood to return to his seat, Justice refused to leave his side, whining and pulling back toward him. The handler struggled to control the dog, who began barking insistently. Judge Brooks banged his gavel. "Control the animal," he ordered. But Justice's behavior caught Sarah Klein's attention. She noticed the dog sniffing at Elijah's clothing, particularly around his pockets. "Your Honor," she said, "something's off. Justice is trained for detection in the therapy program. He might be reacting to something." The prosecutor dismissed it. "This is ridiculous. It's just a dog." Judge Brooks, intrigued, allowed Sarah to approach. With permission, she checked Elijah's pockets and found a small, crumpled note that had been slipped to him earlier by an anonymous visitor. The note read, "The bullet casing is in the old evidence locker. Check the crash report from '08. The courtroom murmured as Sarah read the note aloud. Elijah looked confused. "I don't know where this came from," he said. "Someone must have planted it." Judge Brooks ordered an immediate recess and directed the bailiff to secure the note as evidence. In the ensuing investigation, Sarah Klein and her team delved into the note's implications. They discovered that in 2008, a car crash involving the lead detective on Elijah's case had resulted in the loss of key evidence, including a bullet casing that could have exonerated Elijah. The casing, mismatched to Elijah's alleged weapon, had been misfiled and forgotten. Further digging revealed a conspiracy. The detective, now retired, had tampered with evidence to secure a quick conviction, influenced by pressure from higher-ups amid a wave of unsolved crimes. A rookie lawyer at the time, now a prominent figure, had suspicions but stayed silent. As the facts emerged, Judge Brooks reconvened the court on June 12, 2025. Sarah presented the new evidence, including forensic reports confirming the bullet casing did not match. The prosecutor, faced with overwhelming proof, moved to vacate the conviction. Elijah stood as Judge Brooks delivered his ruling. In light of this new evidence, the conviction is overturned. Mr. Marshall, you are free to go. The courtroom erupted in applause, with Elijah's family rushing to embrace him. Tears flowed freely, and even the judge appeared moved, pausing to compose himself. Justice, brought back for the occasion, sat by Elijah's side, his presence a symbol of the loyalty that had sparked the revelation. The case ignited a national movement for justice reform, with calls for reviews of similar convictions. Elijah, now free, dedicated his life to advocating for the wrongfully incarcerated, with justice by his side. The events in that courtroom left an indelible mark on all who witnessed them, a testament to the power of compassion and the pursuit of truth. The investigation continued, uncovering more details about the conspiracy. The retired detective was arrested for evidence tampering, and several officials faced scrutiny. Elijah's story was covered by major news outlets, highlighting systemic issues in the justice system. Elijah's mother spoke to the press outside the courthouse. "I never gave up hope," she said. "That dog saved my son's life." Sarah Klein received recognition for her persistence, earning awards from legal associations. She continued her work in innocence projects, inspired by Elijah's case. As for Judge Brooks, he reflected on the decision in later interviews. "Granting that wish was the right thing to do," he said. "It led to justice being served." The entire sequence of events, from the granting of the last wish to the emotional exoneration, moved not just the courtroom but the nation, prompting discussions on reform and humanity in the legal system.